Accruals is one of the most time-consuming parts of month end. Most businesses are still rebuilding the entire schedule every single month from within inside of a spreadsheet. Using a tool called Spread, all month end can take you minutes instead of hours. Let's jump in. Okay, here we are in the recurring bills area of Spread. This is going to be your control dashboard. It's a great place to come and get overall visibility into everything you've been billed and what you haven't been billed from your key suppliers at month end. This whole area of the product works with multi-currency. Every single invoice that comes into Xero will take the xc.com exchange rate that Xero uses as of the invoice date, so that when you're looking at the interface in Spread, you can see what the billed amount is in your base currency, and all of your accrual journals as well that are posted will also be in your base currency. I'll quickly show you how you can add a supplier too. Just go to your supplier list and carry out a search, global search in Xero. You'll see any nominal codes that you typically bill for different suppliers. You can track down to different multiple nominal codes for different suppliers. You can also add tracking and you can accrue and manage your budgets for accruals as well down to the tracking level. So to set one up, you simply select the supplier, choose on which basis that they bill you, whether that's monthly, quarterly, annually, or every 2 months, for example. Enter the amount that you wish to accrue every single month for the supplier, or choose the variable average method. Select the nominal code that you wish to track. You can enter a start and end date, which is particularly handy if you want to manage contracts through this. This is a really good control check because you can have your end date set to be in line with a lease agreement, something like that, so that you know when the price is going to change, that accrual will then stop being calculated for you to kind of prompt you to go and go find out what the new agreement is and then enter the right accrual forecast in here. You'll also see, to make this really easy, the last 6 months billing history for each of your suppliers in the base currency to make it really, really easy to put the amounts in that you need to when setting up suppliers. Let's look at a few examples on the screen. So I've set up 3 suppliers here to be tracked through Spread. One for Anglian Water. This is a fixed monthly cost of £180 that we expect to be billed by this supplier. And Morgan Maxwell, advertising and marketing. This is a variable cost that fluctuates as we increase and decrease marketing spend month to month. So in this case, I've set it to be a variable average to look back at the cost of the last 3 months to calculate me the accrual. Lastly, we have a consulting bill set up again to be monthly at £243 a month. So as you can see with this top one, we've accrued £180 in the current month, and you'll always see what the current accrual balance is for each of the accounts over here on the right-hand side, and that indicates the amount that's to be released at some point. So I'm going to go and post the accrual for April as well, because that's been missed. We'll just treat 540 as a spike. Most finance teams will lock Xero every single month. So if you do have an end of year invoice or something like that, it's very unlikely you're going to open that reporting period up. Now, with Morgan Maxwell Advertising, what you can see here is we have actually already been building the current month. So I'm going to lock this supplier for this current month to shut down that suggestion. You can also lock it over here by choosing which month you want to lock it up until, and then you can apply that. I'm not going to do that because I need to post the accrual for the current month, which has been calculated for me based on a 3-month average of the last 3 months. So I'm going to go and post that one as well. Quick tip for you is if you do want to make a non-transactional accrual, you can post that from here too, just by setting up a dummy supplier within Xero, and you can actually create contacts from here too. So I can go and add a new supplier. For example, call it something like provision for corporation tax. I can go and actually set that up in here as well. Now, and I can accrue this as well to make sure that sits in my P&L and balance sheet month to month. Let's do a provision for corporation tax. That might be a manual calculation you do looking at your P&L, but let me just go and put a number in here to just paint the picture of that example. So if it's £35,000 accrual in, and I'll show you what that would look like. So now I've got a expense for the corporation tax debited in the month at 35,000, and it's going to go into a missing bills account, which is an accrual account on the balance sheet, which can be cleared down at year end. Okay, lastly, we have a consulting, the consulting charge, 243 a month. This one is a bit more of a real world story, perhaps, of what's happened here. So we've been billed consistently by the supplier. Then they didn't bill us for 2 months. They sent us a 3-month bill in April. So we've previously accrued the last 3 months, and then we've been billed at let's just say that bill came in last minute after we'd already sort of posted the accruals. And so I can see what the total balance is sitting on in this accrual. I am going to want to accrue 243 in the current month because that's missing, but I've also got an adjustment to do in April to release the previous accruals. Okay, so with this last one, what I need to do is release the entire accruals balance in the month in which we've been invoiced. So I'm going to go put a negative amount in here of £731.58 to release the accruals balance for that supplier. At the same time, I'm posting an accrual for the current month. Then we're going to lock the supplier up until the end of May. And there we go. In Xero, I'll be left with the balance, which is going to be £262.28, which is effectively the difference between the shortfall in what I've accrued previously and the actual invoice. So now that final adjustment will sit at £262 in the month of April. And I've also accrued £243.86 in May, which is why my closing accrual balance for the supplier at the end of May is £243.86. You've got an audit trail here of everything that's been posted. So in this example, I can see all the previous accruals that have been posted for this supplier. Okay, all that's left to do now is lock my financial period. So we've just done month end for May. So let's go and lock that in Xero. I'm sure you already do this in your finance team, but just so that you can see what's been done and what's not been done, and in terms of the balances that are still to release in future periods, we're going to go lock this as well. So we're going to lock all suppliers up until the end of May, which will shut down all the suggestions within here, and you'll just be able to see what the current accrual balance is, so that when next month, when you're wrapping up month end, you can see if you need to make any adjustments. Anyway, that's it from me. Hopefully you've taken something away from this video today. If you like what you've seen and you'd like to find out more, please head over to spread.finance to go find out more and get in touch with us if you'd like a demo.